Welcome to another installment, the first installment of Made for You Meals. I'm your chef, Dimitri Payne. Get ready for a great extravaganza. Welcome to this culinary journey. You're gonna learn some tips, you're gonna learn some tricks, you're gonna laugh. So let's get right into it. So today we have for you mashed potatoes and gravy. So basically what we have here is just some simple Idaho potatoes. You can use golden potatoes. I prefer to use golden potatoes, but honestly, I just buy what's on sale. So these are just Idaho. You can buy russet potatoes. I would avoid using anything that's a waxy potato. So something like a red potato would not be good for mashing. It's more used for roasting. So simply all I did here was just rinse my potatoes, and then I rinsed them like 3 or 4 times just to get all the dirt and grime off of it. And then any pesticides or anything like that. And then I basically am just peeling them. And then what I'm going to do is put them into the strainer bowl you see right there, and then rinse them. So the key to having really good mashed potatoes, fluffy, buttery, light, is one, getting the starch out of it, but also not over mixing it. So you're going to see when we start the mixing process that the less you touch it, the better it is. We've cut them up into halves. Basically, I just half the potato one time and then half it again, and then we're gonna boil them to this size. So the best way to cook a potato, in my opinion, when you're going to mash them is you don't want to cut them too small. Reason being is I use a potato ricer. So by using a potato ricer, what it does is it allows you to have finer pieces of potato and create more air within that as you're mixing it, reducing the amount of over mixing in essence, because the more you mix it, the structure of the potato starts to get hard. It starts to become like a gum, like a paste, and that's what you don't want. We've cut them up into halves. Basically, I just half the potato one time and then half it again, and then we're gonna boil them to this size. So I didn't show you where I rinsed them, but basically I just rinsed them like 3 or 4 times just to get all the starch off that I can get off of it. So now I just threw some salt in the water. If you didn't know, adding salt to your water allows things to boil faster. Let your water get to a faster boiling temperature. Learned that a long time ago. So I added some salt in there just for seasoning and to help it boil a little bit faster. Put some garlic in there, and that's just about it. You don't really have to add a lot because all you're doing is you're just boiling the potatoes. I do like to season my water though before I boil my potatoes, or while I'm boiling my potatoes. That way you get that flavor infused into it. But here I just wanted to keep it simple so that way you can kind of see where you start off at and then where you can go from that. So I added a pretty decent amount of garlic, but I used 5 pounds of potatoes. So that whole pot right there is 5 pounds of potatoes. I try to get a close-up shot, but I didn't show you the size of the pot. But it's basically your basic. If you watch any food competition or anything like that, you see those big steel pots or big metal pots. That's what I'm using. When they cook pasta noodles in, that's what I'm using. So right here, what we're prepping is we're prepping I'm making gravy right here. Oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot. So right here I'm making the gravy. So gravy is really easy to do. I've tried many ways to make gravy, and I found this to be one of the easiest ways to make gravy and one of the best ways. I used to use cornstarch when I made my gravy, and I don't know what it is about cornstarch, but the more cornstarch you use, to me, the more upset it made my stomach. I don't know what it is. So here I'm actually going to use flour to make my gravy instead of I'm basically going to make a roux. So stay tuned for my gumbo video. It's one of my highest praised items that I've ever made. One of. And I make a really good roux. So I'm going to show you how to make roux. And as you can see, I'm spilling my seasonings. That's how you flavor your oven, Just because the flavor is supposed to be in the pot, you can flavor the outside of the oven, That's how that builds character to your oven. But yeah, I made a big mess. But I just really wanted you to see the seasoning. So basically I put some adobo seasoning, some complete adobo seasoning, some garlic powder, onion powder. I did about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm probably going to add more butter because I like buttery mashed potatoes. But I use unsalted butter here. Reason being is because the less sauce you add, the more you can come back and add. So you'll learn that the more and more I cook and the more and more you watch my videos, is that I like to use things that don't have a lot of salt in them. That way I can always add more seasoning. And I can add a greater variety of seasonings when they don't have salt in them. So I can do more things with it. And here we have some ground thyme. And I'll put a list of what seasonings are going in here. Or I have already put it up there for you. But I eyeball everything, so it's going to be a relative estimate of what seasons I put in there, just to be honest with you. And then here we're adding our flour. So basically what you want to do is put your butter in, let your butter start to melt. Throw your seasoning in, then you want to throw your flour in. And you can put the flour in first and then do your seasoning. I just find it to be a little bit of a complete process, in my opinion, from what I've done, to add the flour last. And then here, the pot that I use isn't the best pot. I never use this pot too often just because for some reason it's supposed to be non-stick, but it does not work that well. So I'm still able to salvage it. But basically, you do want your butter, you do want your gravy, you do want this roux right here to get a little burnt. So with all that coloring you see in the bottom, it's perfectly fine because it's gonna add more flavor to it. But I don't want it to taste burnt, so that's why I added more butter to it. That way I can get that flour and that seasonings to start breaking down and creating like a thick paste almost. Not even a paste, but like a thick mixture. Or like a batter. That's what we're looking for, batter. And so it doesn't look that appealing, but you can see all the seasoning. So I have some adobo complete seasoning, like I said, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and when you start smelling it, you'll see, whew, looks can be deceiving. But yeah, so as you can see, the butter's starting to break down and starting to make all that become like a thick little batter. And then we'll be adding the beef broth to it. So I did a beef gravy. You can do chicken gravy. I've done both. I've done beef and chicken gravy. I like them both, honestly. I prefer, I don't know, I have to do a video of chicken gravy and beef gravy and try them both at the same time. Because I like them both, but I might like beef gravy more. That's what I'm used to. Interesting. I don't know yet. And then here I added about a cup, 2 cups of beef broth. And at first you're going to think that it's too watery, but as it starts to cook, the flour will start breaking it down. So here we're cutting to ricing the potatoes. So as my gravy is starting to thicken, so I just let that simmer for a little bit, and then I switched over to going ahead and ricing my potatoes. The potatoes, I actually made the potatoes the day before, and then I went ahead and put them in the refrigerator because you want them to be cold. Now, I overcooked the potatoes slightly. You want them to be tender to where you can come through with a fork, but honestly, as long as you can break them down, you're perfectly fine. And so I pretty much riced all the potatoes to where you create, looks like pieces of rice, honestly. Like I said, I overcooked them just a little bit, but it honestly doesn't matter as long as they're cooked all the way, because the less they're cooked, the harder they are to whip up, and you're going to have chunks in there, and you don't want to have to put a lot of force in when you're whipping it because it's going to make you touch it too much. Here, we're going ahead and making our cream mixture to go ahead and cream those potatoes and mash them, or mix them, stir them. I don't consider them mashed potatoes because I'm not mashing it, but it's still mashed potatoes. Sunrise over your head. Sunrise. Sunrise. You got to put some clothes over your head. You got to put some clothes. Sunrise. You got to put some clothes. You got to put some clothes. Sunrise. You got to put some clothes. You got to put some clothes. Here we go ahead and add our cream mixture of potatoes. Now, as you can see, I'm using a wooden spoon. I recommend using a wooden spoon, but use whatever you have. But I'm just flipping them on top of each other. Flipping them on top of each other. Flipping them on top. That's all you're gonna do. You don't want to sit there and whisk it. I wouldn't use a whisk. You don't want to sit there and mix this. No, the less you touch it, the better. Because the whipping cream, once it heats up, it's doing the job for you basically. Like when you put the whipping cream in there, it's doing your job for you. So all you have to do is just mix it in there, and it's gonna create that light airiness. And then ricing them also helps with that. So it creates spaces in between it, which allows it to be fluffy too. And then my favorite, I put some Italian seasoning, some adobo, complete seasoning. So follow me on Instagram. Tag me in your post at Made For You Meals, or Made For You 1. Link will be in the description, and it'll pop up on the screen at the end of the video, and it did already at the beginning. So here we're just plating it all up. Got our mashed potatoes looking so delicious, light and fluffy, with our nice square cylindrical bowl with that nice black gloss finish. Yeah. And now we're getting that gravy. Oh, here comes that gravy. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, you better quit. You better put some on there. You better put another spoon on there. You not gonna put another one on there for me? One more? Can I get one more spoon? Ah, you ain't gonna do it, huh? You not gonna do it? You ain't gonna do it. But look, you can see the seasoning in there. You got some herbs. Woo! A little parsley on top. A little dry parsley on top just for a little pizzazz, you know. A little pizzazz. And that's it. That's all you gotta do. That's how you do it. Look at that. Look at that. I prefer dried parsley as opposed to fresh parsley, depending on what I'm making. And that's it. Garlic, mashed potatoes, and gravy. Doesn't get any sexier than that. So thank you for watching. Appreciate all of you. Gonna dig into this. As you can see, put that spoon up in there. Ooh. Oh, you want some? Matter of fact, let me give you some first. If you subscribe, you get this is for you, okay? So if you subscribe, go open your mouth. Ah, come on. Say ah. Come on. Yeah. Take an airplane. There you go. Oh, get you some of that. Oh, get just a little more. Just lick a little bit of gravy. Come on. Just a little bit of that gravy. Yeah, there you go.